Welcome to New Normals. So we hope to intentionally redesign new normals, leveraging humor and human sciences in this show.
And we would like to have fun while we're doing that.
Absolutely. So Agnes, what is your New Year resolution this year?
I think my New Year's resolution, the most important one, is that I'm gonna spend or invest more time to really figure out what do I really want, what would be really something connecting to my deeper self. And I think that's one of my major. So give enough space and time for myself to figure out who I want to become. I think that's the one.
You know what's funny with my New Year resolution? For many years, I resolved to eat less Oreo every year. You know how tempting Oreo is, right?
Right.
It's like this.
Nice.
Very, very tempting. So, so what do I do? I failed every year to eat less Oreo, but I decided that I am going to change. So last year I ended up wanting to exercise more. I say, okay, let me just keep up with the Oreos, but I'll exercise more so that as long as I have my weight in control, that would be fine. But one day I, of course, was too tired after work and I skipped exercise. And then I just find myself reaching out to the Oreos in the kitchen. And it was so soothing just having that Oreo and just forgetting about the failure of, my New Year resolution of exercising more. So ever since, anytime when I failed to exercise more, I took an Oreo. And then I realized that I'm actually gaining weight. And I have a stronger desire to lose weight and exercise more. And then I feel even more stressed when I actually fail to stick to my exercise resolution. And I feel more guilt and I feel in more need of more Oreos. So I ended up eating more Oreos and I didn't end up exercising too much after all. So I feel like there is such a kind of old normal of this very vicious circle of the putting one more mission, one more opportunity for us to fail by actually having expectations of, changes to make us a better self instead of what you just said, just accepting who we are, letting go of your Oreo guilt.
Exactly. And I think it's very important that we start this conversation with ourselves. Okay, what do I do? So self-reflection. Okay, do I eat Oreos? And when do I do after I eat Oreos? Do I feel that feeling or this feeling? And how that reflects on my other desires? And then piling up all of these inner conversations. Shall I do this more and that more? And how that interrelates? It's overburdening, I guess. And therefore, I really believe many people will find themselves in a similar position. And therefore, I think we will help ourselves and the others to clarify how does it work and how can we actually help ourselves and be more successful with our resolutions, the new ones in the new year.
Right. So in this
new
show,
year.
Wow, New Year, yes, happy New Year. Our show really has these two parts, right? So in the first part, we're going to do old versus new normal. So what should be the new normals? Should we just get rid of all the New Year resolutions? Should we just have a month of like not feeling like any change is needed? We're just perfect as who we are. Would that be stress releasing? Would that be actually, doing any help? What do you think?
I think many people are looking for this specific magic moment, and I think New Year's Day or this old year's leaving and New Year's coming is giving this hope, and that's why the people have always looked at this opportunity. But you are making a very good point. Is there anything particular in this day on this January 1st? And if we take bigger perspective, obviously the answer is No, I mean, you can do it in January 2, January 3, January 4, but the tendency or the habit is there. And I think, yes, let's discover what actually is behind this. First of all, the need or the people, the urge the people have to help themselves, and what does it do or how does it play, whether that's necessary to be on January 1st or not.
You know, the irony about New Year's resolution is that it gives you a clean slate to start with. Like it has this restart effect. And why do you need the restart effect? Like you can turn a new page and then like new year, everything would be better. The reason, ironically, is because we feel bad about failures. We need to wash off an imperfect page. 2020 was full of imperfections, and we need to turn, to a new page because we feel bad about that old self that is like not succeeding all the time. And the irony is that now all of a sudden we're gonna be like, oh, let's try to have some change that have uncertainty of success, and we have this extremely high expectations of ourselves, like succeeding all the time. And so this is doomed to lead to disappointment. This is doomed to lead to more needing to turn a new page. You don't want to turn to a new page by getting back to the old page pattern, right?
Right.
Why don't we try, first of all, discover how does it feel to be just accepting yourself fully, and then see whether we're curious to change anything, like you said.
Exactly. I think you said like a very fundamental reminder for everyone. When people want a change, when they are unhappy, and what usually comes along, or what is neighbor of unhappiness, is usually followed by the shame and guilt that people cultivate in themselves. And therefore, because they want to avoid that guilt, oh, I actually took another Oreo and I feel guilty about it. I want to turn the page tomorrow, or I want to turn the page on January, and then I will be a new person without the shame and guilt that had my previous self. So therefore, yes, that's exactly how the people can look at themselves and say, well, it's actually, I'm trying to avoid guilt and shame, but then is it really the way to do it? Or how possibly there are better ways how to overcome that feeling?
But do you think, some people would wonder whether it's possible to have the drive to change if you feel perfectly happy with yourself? Do you have any drive to change? Because you and I seem very happy. Do you think we have enough drive to actually change and become a better person?
Let's say everything is on a spectrum, right? The light is on a spectrum, different cars are on a spectrum, different other things are, everything is on a spectrum. And then the desire of people to make a change also are somewhere on the spectrum, from very low to very high. And also over our experience in our lives, it changes. Sometimes we are more willing to change. Some years we are less willing to change. So those people who create the lists of New Year's resolutions, sometimes they have one thing on the list, sometimes they have 15. So therefore, I would say there is less likely the person to want a change if they are more happier. There might be even scientific correlation between these two. But generally, I think the importance is what to do and how to help people who are genuinely willing to become better in certain things, and how to really achieve their desired changes.
Right. And here we're talking about, I think the fundamental assumption here is if you truly accept yourself and allow yourself to discover what you are, like once you accept yourself, then you can see yourself. Then you can really get to know who you are and get to know what your true drives are. Do you actually enjoy music? Do you actually enjoy, reading, whatever that is that you are intrinsically motivated by? And you can't have that coming from external forces. You can't succeed, right? So we designed this little game of gift of self-love. And we recommend that everybody, maybe in January, take some time to discover what your true New Year resolution is instead of the fake one. The fake one come from societal norms, come from like need of validation, social image. You know, you want to do it because you want to please another person. You want to be liked more. You want to be loved more. But what about doing it for just who you are, and you just feel motivated to do it? That would be the first step. And then once we get that true resolution, we can empower you with some behavioral science technique to kind of stick to it.
Excellent. I think it's sorting out, again, the clarity, getting yourself clear of which is really your New Year's resolution, not something that everybody else is willing to achieve, not something that you read on the news or that is something on like a top one that people want. So then again, reflecting back on your Oreos, so this could be like, okay, people can think, oh, maybe this is my real New Year's resolution, or this one is. And maybe some people are saying, oh, this is better for you. But maybe if you really take an opportunity and try both of them, your bodily instincts will say, but actually this is making yourself, like every cell in your body, much more happier, although many people are really praising this one. So this is about the clarity of everyone is unique, everyone has their own ways, everybody is unique to some degree, and this is the time for you to really self-reflect and give yourself this gift, the self-love gift, which means the 5 minutes figuring out, be with yourself, and give yourself this luxury gift.
So we basically are saying that we're gonna write on New Year's Day as many kind of gift of self-love and self-discovery. And this gift is not a materialistic gift. It means that you spend time. It can be 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes. But you're gonna write down ideas of how you can spend those time, to discover yourself. So why don't we give some example, Agnes? I'm gonna let you be the green sticker, post it, and I'm gonna be the yellow. So when I draw one of these, and we're gonna just try to kind of improvise on some ideas of what we can do. Yeah.
Right.
Let's see. Okay. This is a.
That's me. That's me.
Okay. One idea to help discover yourself, and love yourself.
Yes, I will continue on the same vibe that I already have, and I have already committed for it. And whenever people ask me, I'm answering this. So I'm gonna really allow myself immerse into my instincts, into my inner callings, because we know that the everyday routine is really taking away your attention, and attention from whom? From you. So you don't have enough time with yourself. And that's why you cannot really honestly pick your innate or your inherent or your real true New Year's resolution. And that's why people hang on to some other people's New Year's resolution. So therefore, I have a little trick for myself I can share with everybody. Once you sit down, and then the time depends how much you really love yourself. So the more time, the more love you give to yourself. You can sit for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, you can 3 or 30. And then multiple ideas come to your mind. And you might think, oh, I might write a book, or I might read more books, I might do more exercising, I might stop this unhealthy substance. And listen to what your body celebrates while those thoughts are rushing through. Sometimes I give this example when people are searching for metal underground. They use this specific device which makes a beep as you are scanning the ground. And sometimes people do it on the beaches where people lose some jewelry or stuff like that to find it. So how does it work? It just scans what's under the ground, so what's under the hood, which under here. And then whenever there is a good, really relevant thing for you, it starts to accelerate that beat, like dee, 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 dee. So while you're sitting these 5 minutes, let's say, there are these things coming through, and then listen to your inner, I don't know how the device is called, but that device is in you. It's already detecting. And whenever there is the really your idea coming through your mind, it will accelerate the beep, and you're grabbing it. And that's your true one. So this is how it works for me.
That's so good. I'm gonna actually draw a yellow to give myself permission to kind of share an idea. I discovered that when I cried, I'm connected with my heart. When I'm in tears, and I want to cry more this year. Either it's tears of laughter, of happiness, or tears of sadness. It's where I can feel the tenderness of my heart, and where I can feel real, where I can feel what moves me truly. So crying more, be more vulnerable, so that you can actually give yourself full permission to get into the emotional state. And when you have that 5 minutes sitting, what Agnes shared about this, what you shared about this feeling yourself, it would mean that you could go into those very emotional activities and not feeling fear that it would make you vulnerable or show your weakness. Or so one example is gratitude giving. I think we actually at home tried a game where within 24 hours we write as many gratitude notes as possible to each other, and we share during dinner time. And whoever writes the most notes would win the game. So it was gamified. And it ended up that we have to actually accept each other's gratitude, and we got to rehearse those kind of gratitude that was implicit inside us but now made explicit. And I remember the first time I was sitting on the dining table not knowing what to expect, and there was this 10 gratitude notes that I received from the other two in the house, and it really took me by surprise how much details were in those gratitude notes. And I remember I was in tears, and feeling really satisfied, with my heart and emotionally. So such activity can feel nothing, right? What you are familiar with. It's not part of the old normal. But we believe that the pandemic has shaken everything up. Everything is so abnormal. Everything is so strange. Let's embrace new normals. Let's embrace, getting connected with our vulnerable side of ourselves so that we can discover the true self.
Yes. And let's put a little bit scientific taste onto it, because we can also really give some spices onto the discussion, right? Because it's not only that we are just dreaming here, which is good, of course, and we are really expressing what we would like ourselves to become. And therefore, we not only are doing guesswork, we are also having some scientific insights why this is actually working like this. And I would really say that even if you look at the biology, psychology, and all the social, let's say, fabric that we are intertwined with other people, there is something fundamental in how we, on the one hand, are trying and willing and hoping that everyone will have a better life, including ourselves. And at the same time, we have this constant societal and media and information overload telling us who we are and who we are actually not.
We ought to become, or why we're not enough being who we are.
And therefore, we now are demystifying the game. And the game is your inner wisdom of everything. There's trillions of cells, knowing the history of evolution, knowing how the change works, knowing how the neurons are helping yourself to build the new neural networks for your habits or changing your habits, and using oxygen and sugar for building the new connections and stuff like that. And on the other hand, we have this constant, interplay between the inside and the outside, how we relate with the news, how we relate with the other people making the New Year's resolutions, and whether that distracts ourselves from being or finding who we really are. So therefore, we have to be mastering this dance between the inner wisdom and the outer interrelationships or the interaction that is happening.
Yeah. So our heuristics of being in constant competition with others, in some sense, is misfiring, right? In today's context, when we were living with 100 people, yes, being competitive is great, comparing ourselves with others and kind of caring about our social image all the time might make sense. Now you are exposed to 7 billion people. You can, if you want, kind of compare yourself using the heuristic, but that heuristic is really damaging us because we can survive without, winning over other people. So you don't need to compete. And so you can be perfectly happy just with yourself. And that sort of stress from the sort of survival instinct is no longer necessary. And leading to so much coping mechanisms of just to release that stress, this unnecessary stress. So that's the first scientific grounded sort of insight of heuristics and biases, and how our system one do not always get applied in the right context and can misfire. What about the second one, Agnes, what we shared before about sort of intention action gap, or in this case resolution action gap? As we know, 1/3 of people really give up on their New Year resolution after a month. Is there any way of helping us sticking to it? Let's say that we discover what our true self really want. We have a really authentic instead of fake intention. How would you suggest that we bridge that also resolution action gap?
We can use the same power that we were kind of criticizing in the first point. I mean, the others or the world or what is suggested by something, by the media, by other people. By the way, everything that is in the media is created by other people. So there is this social phenomenon all around us. So for those who are really on the journey and they have found what is their personal New Year's resolution, then they can again come back to the others who are similar to them and who are aiming to help themselves with the same New Year's, with the same change in their lives to become better. And then we can harness that power from others, because whenever we feel like we are not alone, but there are other people moving the same direction, they're approximately on the same pathway, on the same journey, around the same area or the same progress, we feel connected with them. And we feel like we are not just ourselves. Because let me just give you a very practical example. People oftentimes drop their New Year's resolution because they really feel, I'm only one, and nobody will see that actually I'm dropping it because I'm just said to myself, so I don't have this social contract with anyone else. And the second is they feel much less powerful being alone. That's inbuilt in our genes, in our DNA. We survived as Homo sapiens because we were collaborating. So therefore, using the same power of social dynamic and the social, we simply similar others is the fundamental ground. And technologies now are helping with this very easily.
Yeah, we're so motivated to please others. So whenever we can, make use of our family members, friends as our accountability body, because we're more willing to do it for them. And when we do it for them and they give us affirmation and give us praise, we just feel so rewarded. So in some sense, Agnes, I think the point here is that give yourself positive psychological reward, right? Instead of like punish yourself, feeling guilt and all these negative emotions, it's healthier, according to science, to use your positive emotions to reward and reinforce. And so how can we even do it beyond even social accountability? One idea we have is gamifying. Games are fun, so try to make that sort of process or more fun and really get rid of all your guilt and stop blaming on yourself. So one particular idea is to, for example, with our Oreo, is to roll a dice. And maybe instead of saying, I will never eat Oreo, which is unrealistic, you say, I know that I'll fail some of the time. I'm going to roll a dice. And when it is, depending on how badly you think you want to eat your Oreo, you can do 50% of the time. Then you say 1, 2, 3. If it's 1, 2, 3 outcome, I'm gonna eat the Oreo. If it's 4, 5, 6, I'm not gonna eat it. Now you give the responsibility to chance about whether you eat it or not. There you go. It was a dice. So Agnes, can you just demonstrate? Can you roll a dice and I'm gonna be like, okay, now I'm acting out. I'm tempted to eat my Oreo. And I pick up the dice, and here we go. The number is, I'm gonna eat when it's 1, 2, 3. So I'm like 1, 2, 3, please, 1, 2, 3, please. What is it? 3. Yes, I get to eat my Oreo. Here, I get to eat my chocolate beans. So I also get the reward. Like I feel actually absolutely guilt-free when I eat my Oreo because I won the Oreo game. You know, so and over time, if you are kind of getting more confident that you will be able to resist that temptation as you feel good, even 1 out of 6. You only eat Oreo when it's 1. You can create a 12-sided die. You can do a digital randomizer. So that's one way to also take away the guilt.
Exactly. And I think this is the best thing that we can give as a gift for you today. And yeah, certainly I would look forward that we will continue this discussion in our next episode about what else is there in terms of you helping yourself being an upgraded person, because everyone wants to be better, so, like sooner or later, or more or less. And we are here to share the wisdom of our own experiences and also the deep sciences that really explains why some of the things work, why some of the things doesn't work, and what is the journey from the old normals to the new normals.
And let's embrace the new normal of designing new normals, leveraging science of humans and humor.
All right. Wishing you, everyone, giving yourself a gift from your heart to your heart.
Nice. Happy New Year. Happy 2021. Good luck.
Be yourself, and you will be an excellent person.
And for change, try to fail instead of try to succeed in your New Year resolution this year. Bye.